Hey guys, welcome back. Just want to go over the new dev briefing. There is some exciting things, and I am looking really forward to seeing what Team 17 does with this game. It seems like they have quite a bit more excitement into working on the game than Black Matter did. And I get it, they were leaving. They got their money and they're out the door. Like, not a problem at all. It's just this game needs some new life and excitement brought into it. And it seems like Team 17 is willing to do that. So let's go through this dev briefing and see what they got in store for us. Hey everyone, we wanted to start this week's dev brief by saying a big thank you to those who've jumped into update 13.5 and fed back on their experience so far. We've been busy going through your feedback on the different platforms and appreciate you sharing your reactions, both positive and negative. First thing is, I thought we had a PTE that was available, which I really feel like this update should have had at least 2 days of PTE so that they could have fixed the rifle reload. Honestly, that's really the only thing I'm constantly running into a problem with is I use the car more than any other gun in the game. But other than that, let's move on with it. Update 13.5 was the first of many planned health updates over the course of the year aimed to improve quality of life and player experience. Hell Let Loose is a fantastic game. I'd arguably say it's the best game on a massive scale. And as such, it'll take time to fix all of the known issues and unfortunately create new ones along the way. This is something that we all know. We've all adapted to games having issues. And, I assume as a developer, you try to get everything in. You might forget to bring an old patch along with a new patch, and stuff like that can happen. We all understand it. We just hope as a community that these get fixed in a timely manner. However, we're committed to eliminating all of the bugs and not introducing new ones as much as possible. Again, we know this is going to be a thing. We just hope there's quick fixes shortly after. As our team continues to get familiar with the project, we'll fine-tune processes and procedures that will help us get patches and fixes out on a more regular basis. All good things. During the reveal of the 2023 roadmap, we talked about transparency and how we aim to be open and communicative throughout the future development of Hell Let Loose. Players can expect briefings twice a month, along with some new communication channels that will be coming online later this year. It was really good back when Black Matter used to do the dev briefings all the time. I believe it was weekly for quite a long time. And they were just fun to read. They were, if you're going to claim to have transparency, at least promote the illusion of having transparency. But, when you go 3-4 months without a dev brief and you're not listening to your community, that doesn't scream transparency as much as you want to put it in writing. We're taking the time to ensure the next update, Update 14, will include fixes for many of the bugs that have occurred with Update 13.5. In order to facilitate these fixes, alongside delivering 2 brand new maps for the British forces, we'll be adjusting the 2023 roadmap by moving June's existing map refresh to an update later this year. To that end, we want your input on which map we update. We've selected 6 maps, and in the next dev brief, we'll be releasing a poll for the community to vote which ones get updated. We encourage you to debate the best selection with your teammates, clans, and friends, and in 2 weeks' time, we'll take a vote. The options: Purple Heart Lane, St. Mary-Glise, Carrington, St. Marie-du-Mont, Omaha Beach, Utah Beach. How about Stalingrad? I don't think we need a rework. We just need to make it playable. I still experience a lot of issues with stuttering, and every time I aim down sight, I get this little glitch. And what's funny is, even when I edit a video and I drop it down to 60 frames a second, it's almost not noticeable. But in game, when I'm playing at 200 FPS, it is extremely noticeable and throws off my timing like crazy. But, been playing that map like that for quite some time now. So you kind of get used to those issues. But boy, is it frustrating when the game reminds you of its faults every time you play it. If I had to vote on a map, I think everybody likes Carrington besides the, lower bit of performance, which the map has always kind of had. I could see a rework being well for that. Although I think if they, kind of one of the things they touched was that big open 3-story building on Carrington when they closed that off. I'm glad that's not the case anymore. But same Marie Dumont. I mean, we had a map refresh of that. I loved the old one back before we had grass in the game, but I think I'm fine with the new one. I don't think that needs to be really touched. Omaha Beach. I mean, what else could you do to it? I think the map is nearly perfect for what it's trying to accomplish. Utah Beach, don't fucking touch Utah Beach. Utah Beach is a great map. I love that map. It is my favorite map by far. I just love the open layout with the little cities that you can battle in. It's got decent long range combat before you can actually just push into that close combat. It's got great room for tanks to roam around and hide, and I think that's a great map. I mean, Purple Heart Lane, I love Purple Heart Lane. Some people don't like it. I like it on offensive more than I like it on warfare. Could it use an update? Sure. I know all those trenches in real life were all dug by hand in preparation for the war. So I do think if you remove some of that and you change it up and, you're going to kind of mess with the flow of the map, which it already has massive stale points, and the artillery can just blast you on point nonstop all game. And does it need a rework? Sure. Maybe lower some of the waterways, possibly, so you can actually get through it. I don't know. It's a tough one. What do you guys think? There's other maps I would love to see changed. I'm not a big fan of Hurtgen Forest. I know that we used to have a different version of Hurtgen Forest, which I liked better because it was darker, dingier, looked like it was a forest that had been completely burned down. It was just dingy. Scar is an absolute nightmare to battle for. There's a lot of hills to deal with. A lot of tanks can just sit in camp, which I'm not a fan of, but I don't know. Out of this selection, it's probably Carrington. Carrington could use an update. I do like it the way it is, but I think if they do a refresh like they did for St. Mary-Glise, I think we would be in a good spot. You could open up quite a few more buildings though too. We have a lot of closed off buildings in Carrington, and I don't want the game to become a camp fest. It already is, but to have a little more open buildings, maybe just a little wider circle of buildings you can battle in, I think that would be cool too. In Carrington, I really like the buildings that you fight in, the little towns, like Canal Crossing, I think is one of the funnest places to do battle. Town Center is obviously also good too. But the distant maps that are like out in the fields and stuff, I just don't find that interesting. So maybe make it more of a town-centered refresh, I think would be a lot of fun. We're grateful to be on this journey with you as we begin delivering frequent updates and content to Hell Let Loose, and look forward to working with you as we isolate and fix more issues with each update this year. Let's be clear about that. We hope as a community that you are working with us as well. So I really hope they mean something by that and not just take the really inexperienced players' ideas and throw them into the game like the ideas you see in their Hell Let Loose Discord. That's where the joke about wire cutters comes in. For quite a while, everybody wanted wire cutters. I make fun of wire cutters because as if that's the one item that makes the game better. It will never make the game better. Removal of the damn barbed wire that's implemented into the game, the permanent fixtures, that would be great. Get rid of that. We don't need any of that. So I hope that they don't just look towards the inexperienced people who won't be playing this game that long to make massive changes that will affect the future of the game for the people that do have thousands of hours in the game. If it was me, am I going to trust the 30-year mechanic about what's wrong with my car, or am I going to trust the guy who just got his degree and it's his first day on the job? It's a pretty simple analogy. Known issues post update 13.5. Server performance and VoIP. Some players may be experiencing instances of rubber banding and high ping, which are also affecting VoIP communications. Continued optimization will aim to bring increased stability to the game across all platforms. Yeah, the VoIP has just always kind of been an issue. I think, I mean, six of one, half a dozen of the other. Some people don't even talk in the game, and some people, when the VoIP is broken, they try to fix it in the audio settings, and it still doesn't work. And now there's no communication, and we all know that the maps with no communication are just the worst. Like, you might as well be playing Battlefield because nobody really talks, and you're just kind of gunning people down, and no one really cares. But really hope they get a hold of the VoIP issues, as they've been around for quite some time, and I haven't seen them this bad since like update 9. Update 9 was pretty brutal as far as the VoIP goes. Reload animation bug. On an empty chamber, some weapons are presenting a reload animation issue. The team prepared a fix for this. However, found the bug could still be replicated. Therefore, investigation is required to ensure a complete fix can be prepared for update 14. Yeah, I mean, of course it can be replicated. Just run out of bullets. And there you go. And now it's replicated. Hopefully the fix is replicated with something completely different. But this is my argument for the PTE. In 10 minutes, people would have mentioned that issue if they would have had a PTE, and that would have been fixed. And overall, the update 13.5 would have looked great. Like, would have been I think a pretty positive outlook. But if you're going to put out an update and you're going to have that noticeable of a bug, it's going to put people on edge to see, like, still question, are you guys trustworthy with this new product that you've purchased? Are you actually going to go through and fix the bugs? Because for a long time, we've had one step forward, two steps back, and we don't want to see that as a community for hell let loose. It's just going to end up destroying this game when you are so close to making a polished diamond. This game is amazing. Anybody who's played it, I know some of you on my channel have left the game, and I hope at some point you do come back to it. Maybe it will take more trust from the developers to be able to come back to the game. But with the promise of 6 years worth of updates, I think right now is a good time to come back. Yeah, a lot of you don't even use the rifles, so you won't miss not having that reload. But if there was a time to come back to Hell Let Loose, I do think now is the time. Radio box clipping through flamethrower when players equip the Flamerwerfer on the support role while wearing the Battle Scar DLC uniform. Did I get that right, by the way? A radio box appears to clip through the flamethrower. This issue is currently being investigated. That's good. I mean, that seems like a real bug that you couldn't have predicted, right? But the reload animation is a bug you would have seen right away and probably would have been able to implement your fix, even though it was recreatable in some other way. I would have rather have that other way than the way it is now. Other issues under investigation include, but are not limited to, tank shell penetration issues. I never play tanks, and I had this issue recently. It is stupid. And I've been having issues with the AT rockets even hitting the tank in the direct back, in the ass. And it's like the rocket blows up right before it hits it. Kind of like when you shoot around a corner and you're not out from the corner far enough because there's like an invisible wall blocking your shot. That's what's been happening when it comes to taking out tanks. There used to be a 130-degree rule where if you were within a 130-degree angle of that flat surface on the tank, you were going to make contact. And that's just gone away. A lot of the time, I end up putting two directly in the back, and then some other AT comes in and hits it and gets all the points for it. Well, they need to break that up. If I get let's say it's worth 75 points to take down a big tank, then on the first shot, give me 20 points. On the second shot, give me another 20 points. And on the last shot, give that guy 35 points. Like, let's break it up. Let's make it even. Give me a reward for breaking down that damn tank for someone else to come, collect all the points when he literally did no work. Otherwise, I mean, you could just go around and wait for other ATs to hit it and make sure that you get the third shot. And now I'm stealing kills from people. So I really hope something in the future comes like that, because when they implemented the ability to have multiple people take down nodes at once, that was a long overdue situation, and I'm really happy that that's in the game. It really makes playing the spotter and sniper role a lot of fun to go find a bunch of nodes and then you just both take them down real quick. And if you got even more people, then the more the merrier. But tanks have needed a rework for some time. I don't play tanks a lot, but I do know that a lot of other tank games have implemented tanking in a lot better of a way. And this game needs an update. There's no way that a rocket, I don't care where it hits it, is just fully deflecting off of it, especially when you're hitting it in the zone that the game requires you to hit it in. So I hope they do fix that kind of stuff. Additional LOD concerns. Yeah, we all know about the level of detail at distance. It's dog shit, and it has gotten better with this update. I have noticed that there is some buildings that actually render in. Now, if we could just get the trim gun in the damn windows, that would be awesome. If you could open up some of those windows for MGs to mount in, that would be awesome. Floating pistol on character front end menu. That's cool. Hey, speaking of the front end menu, can we get like a shadow behind that guy so it actually looks like he's standing there? I mean, it looks like the same level of Photoshop skills that I currently possess. So if I could make someone look like they're just standing on it, the least you could do is add a little shadow behind him to make him look like he's actually standing there. So I'm just saying, if you get to it. Some issues with third-person sprinting animation when using some weapons. Again, I'm glad these things are getting fixed. I don't know if many people really notice it because we know we're in a game, right? And we know that this game floats between, a hardcore shooter versus an arcade shooter. So it doesn't really know its role. So I really hope we lean more towards the hardcore tactical side more than we do the arcadey side that we've seen in the last year. But hopefully Team 17 can kind of determine where this game fits. Roadmap Q&A. Will console ever receive server browsing functionality? That's long overdue. I mean, the fact that you can leave a server on console and then go back into the game and you're just in the same damn server, like, that's not fun. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know if any of you are playing on console. It can't be that great of an experience. But the least they could do is add a server browser option so people can leave. Maybe the team's being shitty, people are talking shit, and they just want to get out of that. Why are they forced to go back into that same damn server because there's availability? The reason there's availability in that server is because everybody's leaving it. So to throw people back in the same pile of shit, why would they want to continue to play your game? Like, I don't know if the devs thought that the console community just puts up with the same bugs as PC players do, but they don't. They never have, and they never will. That's not what you expect. If I buy $1,000 PlayStation 5 and it can play games at 4K 120 hertz, and I purchase a brand new game in 2023, it better do 4K 120 hertz. And if it doesn't, then why did I buy the tech? Why did I buy your game? It's got bugs. It's got the same damn bugs that we have been dealing with for the last 2 years. How is that a thing? It's unacceptable when it comes to console. And I'll preach about that all day long. But for PC, we can kind of put up with a little more. There's a little more tweaks we can do to help things out on our end. But we need to iron out these bugs. That's just first and foremost. I don't care if you call it a health update. If you call it a health update and all the rifle reloads are messed up after it, I don't call that a health update. I don't care what you added into the background, if it's the analytics or whatever. That shit doesn't matter. Like, fix the game at hand. If you need a PTE, it's there for your disposal. Use it. And then we wouldn't have these same issues if you had transparency and listened to your community. So have the test environment and then take the feedback, then go back to the drawing board, then release an update. Now, if you can be transparent about the bugs before the update comes out, like you have in this brief saying, hey, we know it's messed up, we're currently working on a fix for it, that's amazing. But that's the path you should take. Utilize the PTE, fix the bugs before you release the patch. It's how it's kind of always been in this game. It's how it should remain. But if you're just going to pump out shit and just throw it into the wind and just let us deal with it for 2 more months until you come out with the next update, dude, what are you doing? That's like telling us to just go pound sand. Deal with it. Deal with it. Oh, yeah, well, we've already been dealing with the loadout bug for over a year. We've already been dealing with the grenade bug for over a year, which is worse now. The grenade bug just used to not throw, but now I've had issues where I throw the grenade and then let's say I get hit by something, I have to bandage, and then it won't even let me bandage. And not only that, I have to hit escape and then hit escape again to get back into the game. And then it'll actually let me select a different weapon. Then I can go back to bandage. And then when I'm done bandaging, my gun automatically fires one bullet. And then when I go to reload, my next bullet is a blank. Like, that's way worse than what it was before. So I really hope that gets ironed out because, like I've said a million times, this game reminds you of its faults every time you play it. And that stuff needs to get ironed out. I don't care if you have to go back to the drawing board on the earliest bug there is, then that's where you should start. Start ironing out that little crap, and maybe along the way you'll find out that some of the maps might run better. You know, once these little bugs are ironed out. And Stalingrad specifically, Hurtgen Force has gotten worse for me. I don't know about you guys, but I get stutters and glitches on that map all the time. And I just want to play your maps. If it's going to be in the rotation and you want me to play it, then make it run well. Otherwise, you have people that just leave the entire server and now it's a dead server because people don't want to play that map. I mean, that's terrible. What British maps will we see in 2023? Joining as a new playable faction, Update 14 features an initial introduction to the British forces. This update will see players taking control of warfare and offensive capture points across the barren landscape of North Africa, as well as the rolling farmlands of Holland. Awesome. We'll be sharing a closer look in an upcoming developer brief, but for now, here's a teaser of the North African map, El Alamein. This looks amazing. I can't wait. I really can't wait for this. This looks awesome. With structures few and far between, players will need to work together to cover their six. Well, good. I just hope you have the rifles fixed by that point in time. Because if it's going to be a long-range map, people are going to need to use rifles. It's just that simple. A plane hangar situated in the dusty desert terrain. This looks great. I mean, the planes, I wish we could fly planes in this game. It'd be kind of fun. But these are good things. New maps are great. When Kursk came out, I loved Kursk. Stalingrad was always a piece of shit, so I always hated it, right? But new maps, new factions is really something this game needs to bring people back. If you are going to hopefully fix a lot of the bugs at the same time with introducing as little amount of new bugs as possible, then I think you guys are on a fantastic path into the future. What will be available in the in-game store? I know a lot of you are worried about it, that it can become a pay-to-win situation. And if they think they know their community and they put in a pay-to-win type system, then they are going to find out real quickly that this community isn't going to put up with that. And at that point, then yeah, I would, if people are going to join in a game-wide boycott of that decision, then I'm all in with it, because this game doesn't need that. You got some of these new players whining that they don't have all the loadouts yet, and it's a really hard grind and stuff. It's like, yeah, I know. There's still people playing Squad Lead that have been playing it ever since. They've been level 10 forever, and they don't even get any XP, and they can't even transfer the XP over. So I don't feel bad for the new people who aren't willing to grind and go do the loadouts. There's the Bob the Builder server for that. Go on Bob the Builder, start using your hammer and get all your loadouts you want. But there's lots of people who've been playing these roles way past level 10 who have been leading squads for years, and they've seen no benefit, nor are they bitching about it. So the game is a grind. It's supposed to be a grind. I'm glad it's a grind because it keeps whiny people out of the game. And this isn't an arcade shooter. You want that? Go play a different game. Will content be separated based on the year of the map? While covering 1 year of the war for each game calendar year, we want to ensure we're keeping the player experience historically accurate. That's good. And are working on ways in which we can determine loadouts, vehicles, and cosmetics are only applicable to specific maps while keeping the gameplay experience fun and engaging. That's fine. Like, if you're really going to try to keep balancing the game, but like cutting out things in the loadouts for specific maps, you're really adding in a lot of time when you could be focusing that time somewhere else. I think if I have the loadout and let's say, satchels weren't used, for instance, or a certain gun wasn't used, that's just a waste of time. Just let us have the guns. Let us use it on whatever map is available. Don't change the loadouts. Who cares? It's a video game. I know you want to keep things real to life. Well, then, did trucks stutter in real life? Were the trucks front wheel drive? Did the trucks get stuck on sticks? No, it didn't. So let's fix those things that are more real to life. Can I walk through a space in a fence that's big enough for a truck without getting stuck? Those are the kinds of things that I think are more true to life than messing with the loadouts and trying to rebalance all the guns. You already made all the SMGs a 2-hit kill past 75 or whatever it is. So that's already not realistic. The rifles that have scopes are more powerful past 200 meters. That's already not realistic. I don't know why you would do that. I mean, look up any of the videos of people shooting 50 cals. If we get a 50 cal on the half track, why is it taking 2 shots past 100 meters? In real life, you don't even have to hit an enemy to take off their arm with the 50 cal. So why are you focusing on this when you could actually make the game more realistic? Why do I have to hit someone twice past 200 meters to kill him, and then I can come up upon an enemy that's 5 meters in front of me and shoot him while he's on the ground, and I got to put 3 bullets into him with a car? Fix the realism. Like, changing loadouts and rebalancing isn't adding to the realism. What are the nonverbal communication tools? Look, I'm not even going to read this paragraph because you already know that there's an issue with the game and people not wanting to communicate because they're like ultra introverts or something like that, and they might have crazy anxiety and just don't have a mic, or they just cannot fathom the thought of communicating in a video game. Well, this game isn't for them. I'm interested to see what they do, because if it's some like shit that's going to pop up on the map from the people who aren't talking, I really hope you have an option to turn that shit off, because if they're not going to talk, they're not there to really help you win. And that's why I only really play in, with members of my Discord or some randoms that actually talk in the squad, because not communicating in the game is detrimental to the team and the squad. So giving a pass to those who don't want to communicate, that's cool. I wish this would just go to console. That I can completely understand, because you actually have people using the microphone in the controller to communicate in game, and that's dog shit. So I really wish this was an option to turn on and off for PC and then just fully implemented in console. What will the free DLC include? Again, I don't really care about the DLC. I own all of them that have been available, but it's not like a big deal. I buy it to support the developers and hopefully it goes to a good cause, and that's about it. But mainly all my characters in game were the exact same outfits. What's the difference between the 2 new game modes? Our smaller game modes offer a new Hell Let Loose experience, where Objective sees players working together to complete set tasks, and Skirmish will offer players the opportunity to jump into landmark battles over a single capture point. Awesome. The game has needed new modes for quite some time, so it's pretty exciting to see. And if it's, complete tasks like set up a bomb on the artillery or take it down or whatever it may be, that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that, especially if they're shorter length. I like the long matches, and personally, I'll be tired the next day just to finish a long match, because those are the best battles you can have in this game. But I know there's players who only have 40 minutes after work and they want to play 40 minutes, and I'm really glad that there's going to be the opportunity for that. Are mortars coming, and will some other items on the old roadmap be implemented? At some point, yes. Well, that's a blanket yes. We don't currently have a time frame on this feature, but it's something we want to include. Well, deployable mortars, I believe, was listed on the old Kickstarter once they reach a certain goal. So again, deployable mortars is great, but if you have more shit falling from the sky that you have no way to combat against, then I'm not for that. Take out the artillery, have the deployable mortar squads, and then we're good. And then we're fine. If I can actually stop the guy shooting the mortars instead of having to have snipers spend their entire game going back and taking care of artillery, and people bitching about snipers not going back and taking care of artillery. Look, dude, I don't want to just do that the whole time. I get that that's the most effective way for a public match, but it's not that fun. It's not a fun game when you just have to sit and take out the guy who's respawning. It's just a boring meta. Can players expect tweaks to vehicles in the future? Efforts to improve both armor and other vehicles are ongoing and will be rolled out in future updates. If you have specific suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, just let the rockets hit them. That's it. That's it. Make the trucks 4-wheel drive. If you ever put one on the frame on a berm, look at it. The front wheels spin. I call it front wheel drive as if it's like really driving from the front wheels, but it might be. And those need to be 4-wheel drive. I don't care if you add stupid big tires on the damn things to get over the berms, or you lower the berms. Like anybody driving a truck in real life would be able to navigate on any one of these maps, but for some reason you can get hung up on the stupidest, littlest of things, and now the truck is stuck. So yeah, armor and vehicles, they need a rework, and that's fine. Not a big deal. Just fix it. Will Archon continue to be updated and see improvements? Yes, we are looking to see where we can further support requested Archon updates for server owners. Open it up. Literally open it up. Let me pick the objectives of the map. Let's say I want to battle on Scar and Scar only. Let me make a map that's Scar only. Let me put in implementations so that artillery cannot be used, or tanks can't be used, or even certain guns can't be used. Like, let's say you want to take out the ability to build an AT gun. Just let me take that out. It doesn't need to be balanced. Let the server admin balance the map in the way he sees fit. That would be awesome. A lot of other servers do this for other games. Why can't we? Will the Finnish and Polish forces be designed and equipped the same as the factions currently in game? No. The Winter War was drastically different style of fighting, and the new skirmish mode in Danzig will be a different experience altogether. We have a range of specific weapons tailored to the individual forces that will reflect the historical content for each battle space, while maintaining a balanced gameplay experience. Cool. I mean, I'd love to see, like, full weapons, but if I'm not a big history buff, but if it was different and they're trying to keep it to real life, then cool. That's awesome. With the addition of the 101st Airborne, can we expect further expansion from the unit helmets insignias? Yeah, obviously that's going to come in, right? Is the implementation of free look being considered? This is one that a lot of you want because a lot of other games have it and you love the ability, and this one I could take it or leave it. Like, I have to use it in game and see what it's like to even be convinced that it's a good thing. But I do think with the tanks, I think having free look would be awesome. Although I guess the spotter kind of already has free look. But I mean, I don't know. I guess you'd have to have kind of a third person view, which would kind of ruin things. But as far as running through the game and being able to look left and right and having free look while still maintaining you going straight, is more true to real life. So we'll see. We'll see what that turns out to be. Maybe it'll be cool. The zeroing, though, if people bring up the zeroing in game, I think that's just going to be fucking useless, especially if you have to hit someone twice past 200 meters with a rifle. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Iron Vanguard returns. Not really interested in console stuff. And the competitive. I mean, have fun, guys. Good luck out there. I know a lot of you competition guys are using NVIDIA filters anyways to see the enemies at night. I don't condone that. I think that's kind of pathetic. And that's why I would never play competitive. It's not a fair playing ground, even though you call it competitive. So who really cares about that? That's the brief. I'm happy to have a brief. I'm really happy to see some devs inspire some new life into the game. I really hope they actually play the game, though. I really hope they all have Steam accounts and they all just randomly hop in. It's like that TV show, Undercover Boss, where the owner of the store goes undercover and sees how the employees he's hired have been treating other people and all the shenanigans that go on. I hope you do it. I hope you play undercover dev and you actually go into some of these public matches, and just don't go into ones that are just US or just UK or European, go to all of them and just see how these people are playing the game. Because every country seems to play this game a little bit different. The US is definitely more sweaty, like by a mile. You go to the UK, you just, you find some very genuine people, and the gameplay is very smooth. People are educated. They know how to move across the map. Things feel a little slower. You go to the EU, and it's kind of a disaster, but it's also kind of fun at the same time. And then you just hit Brazil, and it's like what console must be like. So I hope these devs take the opportunity to actually play this game that they call fantastic, because it's more than fantastic. This game is excellent. It's worth putting the time into. I know there's lots of games out there, but there's people who have 8,000 hours into Minecraft. There's people who have 10,000 hours into manicuring their farm, in Farmville. So take the time and opportunity to play your own game, because it will help you, it'll help us, and that's the level of transparency that you don't even need to get approval for. You can just go in and you can see for yourself. That's been this dev brief. Hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of details in here. Go through it, read it for yourself if you want, and post in the comments below if you disagree. What do you want to see in this game? Free look is a thing. Are you happy about it? Are you not happy about it? Are you worried about the pay-to-win system that could be implemented? Because, that's how these companies make money nowadays. Let me know in the comments below. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.